How's everyone doing? I'm doing pretty good. Let's see. We got two people in here, so yeah. Been a busy week. I'm trying to get my screen set up right, so I'm looking at the camera and looking at y'all and be able to read the remarks. Let me move this camera a little bit. Uh, it is not doing what I want it to. Let's try this. There we go. Maybe that will be a little better. How you doing, Rob? Let's see. That might be about right. Baldy, how you doing? So, like I said, busy week. I got some things accomplished this week. It was a rough week as well. My ribs are killing me, and I'll explain that in a minute. uh, it has been a tough one though. Um, so I forget where I was at last week, but I'm pretty sure I didn't have my ceiling completely ready. The ceiling was up, but I still needed to do some things to keep from losing insulation down the sides. Uh, I understand that, Baldy. Wife woke me up Friday for uh, mice or something else, especially where I live. I'm in the country. I've got a cornfield or soybean field some years right behind the house, and they like to come in here during the winter. I haven't seen as much uh, evidence of them this year. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we'll see. But anyway, let's see. You were going to work on the Fairlane. I was going to. I'm going to get some other stuff done. Then I'm going to get on the Fairlane. But see, usually cat gets them before they're spotted. The freeze thaw cycle brings them in the most. Okay. So I got these holes plugged up in the ceiling, so when I blow the insulation in, it won't fall back down, or so I thought. I also put in my insulation guard in the ceiling for my flue. I got that knocked out. And then we get to Friday. Well, Friday, and if you're on my Facebook, you've already seen it. Friday, I had it scheduled to go pick up the machine to blow in my insulation. I got up. I was feeling sick at my stomach, but it's not abnormal for me to wake up feeling nauseated. It's just not. But it hasn't been happening in a whole lot here lately. But I woke up, I was nauseated, didn't feel great, but I'm like, I'm going to push through it. I'm going to do what I need to do. It'll be okay later. I didn't take any of my medicine because I was afraid of. I can't take it when I'm nauseated like that. You're gonna get a little bit of a video, not much on the insulation process. I should have done a better job of that. But anyway, oh, that's cool, pin setter or Papa. um, where was I at? So I wake up. I'm sick. I'm not feeling great. I but I get in my truck. I jump it off. I still haven't replaced the batteries on my F-350, and I'm not ready to drop $500. So I drive to Home Depot and I get there and I said, "Oh, I'm here to pick up my machine." And they're like, okay. And I'm talking to them, and there's, I'm going to buy me a suit, and I'm like, do I really need? Because I've been reading on it. Do I really need that suit for cellulose? And they look at me. They said the machine you're getting won't work with cellulose. And then he popped open a sign that says fiberglass only. I'm like, crap. I said, so y'all don't have a cellulose machine? They said, no. The company that sells it won't let us, or has the insulation, won't let us have one because Lowe's has one, which makes no sense, but whatever. So I went. The guy told me, he said, well, go down to Lowe's and tell them you bought insulation from them and you need the machine. I'm like, dude. I went down there anyway, and I told him, listen, here's the situation. And I explained it all to them. They said, okay. I put my deposit down. I was ready to pay for it. And but they let me use the machine. I got it home. Me and my son got it set up. Now, around this time, I'm really, really, really getting nausea. I mean, like I am about to go, and I do. And, I lose everything from dinner the night before, and it was still all on my stomach. I knew I had a problem because, yeah, I was, the stuff from the night before hadn't digested. I'd made some chicken fried rice, and I don't know what I did, but I did something wrong. Anyway, something was bad, something, I don't know. Anyway, I got that over with. I'm feeling just a little better. Okay, son, let's get to it. And I got up there and I did a 12-foot section, 12 foot by 36, which was pretty much between three sets of rafters. And at my heart rate, I got this Garmin right here, and it'll tell me if my heart rate is abnormally high. Now, if I'm out running, which I don't do much anymore, it's not going to go off. But if I am fairly sedate or not doing anything that should make my heart rate go up, it's going to go up. I mean, this little alarm's going to go off. And it did. It went off. And it was going crazy about 2 or 3 minutes before I got that section done. And I'm starting to feel rough. I mean, look, really rough. And I'm like, okay, I got to take a break. I go downstairs. I climb back out of the ceiling, and I sit down, and I just can't get my heart rate to go down. It's over 100. It's hitting 105, 106. It'll go down to about 96, but all I got to do is stand up, and it shoots back up. And I tell my son, something ain't right. I don't know that I can finish. Give me about 15 minutes, see if I can get it to calm down. And it didn't calm down. It just kept on doing it. So finally, and my son's a third shifter. So he got off work. He actually got off work a little early. And then he comes to me, but he should be going home and going to sleep here soon. And I'm holding him up. And finally, I'm like, son, just go on home, go to sleep. If I get to feeling better this evening, by the time you wake up, I'll give you a call and we'll try to get it done. And I've only got 24 hours for this machine, right? So, there I am, sick as a dog. No matter what I do, I can't get my heart rate to go down. I'm feeling horrible. I'm not having trouble breathing. It's just I can't get up and walk around without feeling, I guess dizzy's the word, or like just wore slap out. Like it's just the hardest work that I can do. And finally I'm done. I'm like, I checked my blood pressure. My blood pressure was good. And that's another thing that was just weird. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go lay down. And I laid down, started running a fever. and that was the big tip off. Started running a fever, and pretty much that was the deal from like 9 in the morning. I probably started running a fever sometime around noon. From about then until about 2 in the morning, my heart rate was real high and I had a fever. It finally broke somewhere around 2 in the morning, and I got a little sleep. Got up the next morning and went about it. I guess I gave myself some food poisoning, maybe a flu, a stomach bug, something like that. I read that your body's heart rate, your heart rate will go up when it's trying to get rid of an infection. So I don't know. Anyway, the night before I asked my son to come over in the morning. He got there at 7. I was going to get him to take the machine back. Instead, I got him there. We got on it, and we finished it by 10 o'clock. We finished the whole ceiling by 10 o'clock. I'd loaded it up, took it back. I was about 2 hours late by the time I got it back, 2 hours, 15 minutes. They didn't say nothing. They gave me my receipt to give me my money back, and there you have it. My ceiling's finally got insulation in it. So that's one goal knocked off. It was a rough process. I'm still not 100%, not at all. It's still, I'm getting out of breath. I can't, but I haven't ate much in the past 2.5, 3 days either. Just, it's kicked my butt. Like, the wife fixed steak and mashed potato, or steak and baked potato tonight. I ate a bite of the steak, all of the mushrooms she put on it, and probably a quarter of my baked potato, which was a half of a baked potato. We split one. So I didn't eat much. I ate half an egg this morning, about that much potatoes, fried potatoes, and check this out, maybe a piece of bacon. So, but over the next few days, I'll eat a little more, and I'll get my strength back up, and I'll be good, and I'll be able to get back to being able to get stuff done so I can get on that prayer line. But there's my story from this week. It's a lot, wasn't it? So let me go back through some comments. Let's see. So like I said, on the insulation video, I really didn't take a good video of it. I got some after shots of it, and I'll put that in my video. Glad to see you in here, Papa. See, I haven't bowled much. Every time I bowl, it takes about 3 days for my back to get a little better. Let's see. I'm not a good bowler either. Never have been. I'm lucky if I break 100 per game. I have had a few games where I hit 200, but it's like 2 games, and that's it. Fun, Papa, very underappreciated job. Let's see. Infected insulation blower. Blame Lowe's. I'd like to, but I know it wasn't their fault. 215 plus in the league's highest was 225. That's pretty good to average at. That's real good. AMF. Glad you're feeling that. Appreciate it, Rob. See, can't get the beer tire. You must have 3 people. I don't like AMF. They almost ruined Harley. No, I'm just playing. Harley's about to ruin themselves, I think, but that's neither here nor there. No, Brunswick. Hate doing insulation a lot, but not enough to pay someone else to do it for me. So I've never blown in fiberglass. I have no idea what it would be like. I imagine itchy as hell and everything. And I wore a mask for this cellulose. I ended up not being able to wear the goggles. I just couldn't see. But I didn't wear a special suit. I didn't really need it. I didn't have any problems. But anytime I even touch fiberglass insulation, like the bats, I get it all over me. It's horrible. Um, but that's what I'm going to end up putting in my sides. So it is what it is. See, never got a 200. That 200 I got was one of them. I know one of them, and I remember it real well. I used to have a picture of it because it was such a weird thing. But I forget how many. I got 3 strikes in a row and picked up a bunch of spares. And it takes a lot. I mean, if you pick up a strike, it's 30 points, but then you pick up the next one and the way it compounds is weird. But if you don't pick up a strike or the spare, then you kind of lose everything you've built up. So I haven't bowled in a long time. What is it? 12 frames, 10 frames or something like that. And yeah. And so I don't know. Maybe it's not that because that would equal up to 300 if it's 30 points a frame. So something different. I don't know. Anyway, see, hard to find parts. I'm sure it was sending it up at you. Need a spider. No, Tank. I don't need a spider. I like my Harley. I really do. The new fiberglass bats are better, but still itchy as hell. The last time I did fiberglass was 2 or 3 years ago, and it was for my sides, what I've got done so far. Changing your bowling style. One hand, no fingers. I've heard of that. See, I used to wear long sleeves as electrician's helper and made a huge difference with insulation. Just don't bathe with the white stuff and wear gloves. Bathe with the white stuff. Don't bathe with the stuff. Okay, and wear gloves. Yeah, I don't want to fool with it too much anymore. I don't think I don't plan on. Man, I say this. I've still got our regular attached garage that I would like to insulate. Okay, so I don't want to say I'm never going to blow in any insulation again, but there's that. Plus, my wife, we've got her she shed. We're going to need to insulate it. I'm not sure. It's so small though. I might do bats in the ceiling. Plus, I'm going to use my old carpet padding as insulation for it. Um, so, and it might be enough. I might be able to staple it up 3 layers thick, and it be enough. I don't know if I have enough though. Plus, we've got a lot of old styrofoam we're holding on to. Yeah, Walter, that's great. It's better to order too much. I I ended up. I think I've got about 5 inches up there now, and that's about what I was shooting for. There's some low areas, and then there's some high areas. I've got my goal was to cover all the 2x4s, which is what 3.5 inches. Um, but I think I averaged out to about 4 to 5 inches. We'll see. But that was with, I think I had 36 bags, 36 or 37 bags. We didn't use one because, I don't know if I've told y'all, but I had it sitting in I got a lean-to barn, old barn that was back there when I moved in. It leaks, it does everything. I had 3 pallets full of insulation. It was all sitting out there. But I got lucky. That was the only one that had water in it because it was ripped and it was in a perfect spot to fill up with water. Charge Air Pro, okay, on the air compressor. So Papa got him a air compressor. I saw his Facebook post on it. Got that and a tire balance machine. Thought it was pretty cool. The reason I asked because it looked like maybe a Puma, and that's kind of why I was wondering about it. Let's see. I had cellulose blown in before I got this house. Put R19 batch across the entire attic. and built a platform across the center with 2x6 and ply for storage. That's pretty awesome. That's a heck of a lot of insulation. But I get you. I wouldn't mind. So this has got blown in insulation. I'm pretty sure it's cellulose. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've been up there. I wouldn't mind putting bats across it. And then they've got cellulose stuck to the floor. I guess this cellulose you can maybe it's something they put in it and it makes it sticky and they can blow it in kind of like foam, but it's not. And it's stuck to under my floor joist. So my home inspector had a time inspecting, and he told me, he says, I couldn't inspect completely because of the insulation they've got in there. So, yeah. So the first race I'm looking at for sure is October. But I think Hot Rod, the race week is like July, maybe August. I don't know. And I want to do that. So I'm shooting for that. Racing season opens this month late. They'll start testing tunes at most of the local tracks late this month, pending weather, because, we're still going to have, we could get snow into April here. I know a lot of you that watch me, well, shoot, Tank, you're up in Ohio. We'll get snow in April, possibly, even here. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. But okay, I'm not ready to make a goal yet. So give me a few more weeks before I make a goal, and then I'll say this is when I'm going to have the car ready. Okay, just give me a little more time because there's other stuff in front of it that I have to get done, and plus I've got a surprise that's going to be in the way. I might take the Hyundai to the track just to get a time on it, and I'm willing to bet. In the eighth of a mile, I'm willing to bet I can run a 10-second eighth, which isn't super fast, but isn't super slow either. Yeah. So we'll see. Let me go back through. We're looking at tire balance between my brother and my folks. 14 to 15 vehicles we could service. Save money after one set of tires across the board. Yeah, that's a good idea because it's about $10 a tire usually. I ended up buying a machine. It ain't a machine. It's a Nomar, spelled NO/MAR tire changer for motorcycle tires. And I've only done two sets. I think I've did two sets on it so far. I'm about to need another set on my new. I'm about to need a new set on my new motorcycle, my newest motorcycle. So, but man, tire tools come in super handy if you're doing it yourself. Let's see. It's a 60-gallon. I hooked it up today. Now I need to run hard lines. That's awesome. That's awesome, brother. A good air compressor. It's even though we've got so many battery powered tools, a hard line, set it, forget it, air compressor is so handy. It comes in so handy when you need it. Let's see. Not too far away. No, it's not very far away. See, we're going to get a fit. Yes, I'll give you some official times for the Hyundai. See, we're hoping this weekend is the end of winter. I'll keep hoping with you, Tank, but I know I've lived here for 8 years now, and I'm not confident. And I'm on the south end of the Ohio River from you. So I've got a picture of me in April with a snow mound towering over my F-350 there at in the GE parking lot. So, see, 1-in-1 for years. The hot air compressor balance for Valentine's Day. Okay, that's cool. See, wife got me. Okay, turbocharged the Hyundai. No, that's a project, and I'm not willing to spend the Hyundai. I will take it to the track one time, and I'm taking a chance there. But the Hyundai is the go anywhere cheaply car. It's fairly dependable, even though I do realize that I need to change the transmission fluid because it's like should have been changed twice already. And something else, there's something else about it that should have been maybe spark plugs. Something that's supposed to have already been changed twice, and I haven't. I've just drove it, got it at 56,000 miles. It's got 185,000 miles. All I've done is brakes, tires, and a battery, and oil, of course, a bunch of times. And I did the cabin air filter once or twice and some windshield wipers. I got to change those right now. Got them in the car, just haven't changed them. Changed out the headlight bulbs twice. And I bought some, first time they went out, I bought some real fancy ones, real bright ones, and they went out quick. And then I bought just regular ones, and they've been doing good. They've lasted like 6 times longer than the super high bright ones. Sorry about that. Wow. Let's see. $60, give or take. Oh, sorry. I don't know what I swallowed the coffee and went down the wrong way. See, $60, give or take. Oh, I'm sorry. 25. Okay, yeah. I don't know. So my last for tires, I shop around and I end up buying them at Sam's. It ends up being the cheapest out the door, and that's where I buy them. They don't get all my tire stuff because sometimes other places are better on price, and I'm Big Old Tire did my all of my tires for my travel trailer a few years back. They helped me out with my tractor tire. They've done some stuff for me like that. So it's just really dependent. But car tires, just my regular old stuff. 2 sets on my Hyundai and 1 set on my wife's. What is it? Subaru. We're going places in the South. I don't know if any of y'all ever heard that, but it was a Subaru commercial back in the 90s, 80s, something like that. And if you're not in the South, from the South, you probably didn't hear it anyway. And anyway, let's see, 10 to 40 bucks a tire, 90% of the time it's cheaper to do your own. So there's a few tires aren't worth doing yourself. Took a shop at 1.5 hours to do a 12-inch trailer tire. Oof. Laughing gas and turbo supercharger on that Hyundai. No. Look, I realize that Hyundai has a lifespan. I don't know what it is. I'm probably, because I don't know if y'all know, but a lot of Hyundais had problems using oil. My wife's which she sold to my son, did. It horrible using oil. And it's sitting back there in the back of the yard and with the rod knocking. And it goes through a quart every 500, 600 miles. But mine, luckily, hasn't done that. But it has a lifespan. I don't know what that is going to be. So I am planning on another Get Me Anywhere car. It will preferably be about 5 years, 3 to 5 years old when I buy it, and hopefully below $15,000. And good on gas, a fairly decent, not super luxury, but not baseline either. That's what I'm looking at. The Elantra, that's the bill it fit. It was a fairly nice car. Didn't have heated seats, but it had a Bluetooth, which for a 2015, that was pretty decent. Had cruise control, all the good stuff, electric door, electric windows, all that stuff. Decent car. And that's what I'll be replacing it with, but I'm going to run that one until it's no longer dependable, and then I'll sell it to a junkyard probably, which we're planning on selling my sons to a junkyard too. Probably we'll be able to get more out of it selling it to a junkyard than we will be able to taking it across the scales and selling it, at a crusher, shredder, recycling place. And I may not. It's according. Let's see. Tiny stretch, low pro, or run flat tires on easy. Yeah, I wouldn't. Look, a motorcycle tire is not easy to change. They can be very aggravating. And I did all of my motorcycles by hand. No type of tire tool. I mean, no type of like those Harbor Freight deals. Nothing like that. It was just tire spoons and me for the longest. I changed my first set of motorcycle tires in 2006. No, had been 2008 because I didn't change tires on my first Harley until I got home from Belgium. So it had to been about 2008. And I've changed them all by hand up until I bought this Nomar. Let's see. Good night, Papa. Take care of yourself, man. Let's see. Have to be careful with the TPMS sensors. Yeah, I haven't had that problem because I haven't really changed. My motorcycles have got TPMS sensors in them now, but mine doesn't. Not yet. I bet you it's got it built in. It was an option on that year, so I bet you it's built into the computer. And there's probably a hack I can do to do TPMS, but I haven't. I used to run Ride On tire balancer and it's a tire goo for motorcycles. You put it in your tires and it's a self-balancing deal, plus it seals up any holes that may happen. I've run it in all of my tires. I'm until this set that I bought the bike the way it is. I haven't usually would put it in there, but I haven't. Let's see. Sam has great deals around Black Friday. Yeah, I've caught the buy 3 get 1 free Goodyears for my last 3 sets, and that's what I've been running is Goodyear tires. And they've lasted for a few good years. You're on your 3rd Subaru. I know Subarus, especially Outbacks, have a stereotype of who buys them, but they're awesome little cars. They just are. Except for those 80s models where the rotors were splined and were horrible about stripping out, but that's neither here nor there. Um, Most auto auctions have no auction guarantee on the Hyundais and Kias. Sold as is with no arbitration after sale. Yeah, that makes sense. Um, because you can go test the cars on the auction lot without the keys, just fire and raceability, verify all function raceability. Only the Kias. And I will tell you, I checked on prices for engines for those things, and my son is a cent. And I'm telling you, the engine from a junkyard costs more. It's like 2,000, 3,000 bucks for it, and it's just ridiculous. I don't understand why you would spend that much on a junkyard engine, um, especially when there's issues with them. But we had looked into that, and to buy a rebuild kit, I'm still not completely positive we could find the right stuff. So I don't know if everything's rebuildable. I just don't know if there's a parts, um, aftermarket parts. Well, I can't think of what I don't know if there's enough support. That's it. Enough aftermarket parts support for it to make it reasonable to build. I mean, I guess they build them as a throwaway car. Wow, my eye is twitching, or my muscles twitching above my eye. So I just don't know, and I'm not down in it. My Hyundai has been great, but I just know that there's some issues with them, just like with every vehicle out there. There's issues with them. Only the Kias. I did every bit of service in my motorcycles. Well, something's going to fail. It would be on my own hands. Motorcycle's dangerous. Something goes wrong, tires, anything, it could be bad. Um, Over 500,000 miles between the three. That's awesome, Tank. I don't have that many miles between my motorcycles. I wish I did. My goal has always been to get a ton of miles. It just doesn't happen. I've got a whole lot of other stuff going on, I guess. Hyundai's too, a dealer only auto auction in Mishawaka, Indiana, puts a no auction guarantee on Kias and Hyundais. Wow. Just the Impreza Crosstag. Tonight's bourbon is St. Michael. It's from the local distillery here called Boundary Oaks. It is 10 miles from me. I mean, and it's right beside the what they call it, the biggest knife in the world. It's a Red Hill Cutlery, a big knife store. Awesome place. I love to go there. But this is from there. I haven't tried it. It's another one of my 14-day or 25 days of Christmas bourbon deal, and I'm on 14. So let's see what it is. That's not too bad. I don't like Boundary Oak stuff, but that's not too bad. Um, that's got a good flavor. It's got some oak on the back end, sweetness. I know I said last week I don't really have the fine taste buds, but I actually tasted some plum in that. Maybe I taste plum in a lot of them. I don't know. But anyway, that's so. See, a Hyundai Kia 3.3 and 3.8 V6, $5,000 and up used. Wow, that's crazy. That's like I would just buy a car. Um, that's wow. And if so, like my car, it's a 2015, 186,000 miles. If it just needed a new motor, I mean the resale on it right now, if there was no damage on it, is probably somewhere over $6,000. I'm guessing. I haven't looked it up in a long time. 5,000. Let's say over 5,000. But it's got damage. I hit a coyote within a couple of weeks of me buying it, and I knew I was going to be driving it back and forth to work, putting 20, 25, 30,000 miles a year on it. And I knew that the miles were just going to go crazy on it over the next few years. And I wasn't going to spend $1,000 deductible to get the bumper fixed. So the left side of the bumper is gone up to the headlight. The headlight's up's good, or the bumper cover. And this was a week into my new job at GE Appliances, right? Right after I retired from the Army. About 2 weeks before I officially quit, or before I was gone from GE Appliances, I hit either a raccoon or a possum with the right side, and it tore the fog light completely out of it, and the bumper cover is loose from that side. So, and I think the car had been in a front end collision before I bought it. You can see a few of the things where it had been maybe repainted, and I've seen some stuff in the repair records and a few things. So, no biggie. But if it was a not like really nice car, I could see maybe paying a few $1,000s for a good engine. It'd have to be a good engine. But out of a junkyard, that just, and I don't like that. Aftermarket support isn't there because you either do a motor swap or scrap the car. Type of people that rebuild motors or would make that kit focus more on profitable platforms. Yeah, I agree. Motor rebuild isn't cheap at a shop. No. Boldy, while most go reman, the savings is hard to justify versus warranty. Yeah. I tell you what, machine shops are rough now. I mean, they're expensive, period. So I can only, and that's on a small block Chevy, small block Ford. I can't imagine what, something like this Hyundai would cost to get it bored 30 over and everything checked out. It'd be crazy. Fair point. Live in equipment world, so we just rebuild stuff. Yeah, equipment can be extremely expensive to rebuild. So, I mean, extremely expensive for a new motor. So it's best to go with, rebuild stuff. Back to the Fairlane. Where's the intro video? Let's see what we're working with. Where is the intro video, guys? Do I have an intro video on the Fairlane? I honestly don't know. Let's see. Let me find my channel. And I'm glad it didn't start up with me. Videos. See the oldest. Okay. Let me get you. Let me get you a link to this. 30 over new cam. There's your link, Tank. It's kind of a video. I'm talking about it, showing short clips and pictures. It's early on in my video making time. Not that my videos have gotten a whole lot better, but it is what it is. But there it is. There's your link to it. It has got a total of 31 views. It's got 31 whole views. So, yeah. But check out the beard. It's a whole lot shorter. Can y'all believe I've actually Don't tell my wife this. She'll start encouraging it. I've thought about cutting it off a little bit, get back to what it was then. Let me show you, okay, so you don't have to go to it. Share screen, share. So there you go. Can you see me? Can you hear me and see me? Sometimes when it switches, whatever. That was a good length. That was a length where I could still be seen as somewhat respectable, but I still had a G. No, I didn't have a job then. But yeah, that was March 10th of 22. So yeah, I look a lot different now. Not a lot, a little different. But I can guarantee you, if I shave, I will look like a baby. I will not look 53. I'm 53. Almost guaranteed none of you would guess it. Yeah. Yes, Tank. I've been slacking off for 2 years, longer than 2 years. Once you watch the video, you'll know. I think I've talked about it. Let me go back a little bit. Holy cow, you look so young. Let's see, Stroker Honda confirmed. Need a good whiskey. Been a bit since I had one. It's pretty decent. If you're gonna get something, there's others I would try, like a Double Oak Woodford Reserve. What have I got in here that's good? Widow Jane's Applewood Rye is a real good one. Smoke Wagon Small Batch is a real good one, real tasty. Those are some good solid ones that I think are probably going to be good for someone who doesn't drink whiskey a lot. So yeah. Let's see. 30 over New Cam. See, miss the good days when you could pick up a used engine for a few $100 and a swap through. I do too. And I think you can still do that for some stuff. I mean, I know you can. I bought a 351 Windsor with a roller cam in it. I could have just pulled it apart, threw some new rings. I didn't even have to do that. The engine looked great inside for 200,000 miles. I mean, it looked good inside, period. And it had 200,000 miles on it. Got it from the junkyard. I pulled it down. That was what I was going to rebuild and put in the Ranchero, which is another project which I decided to stop even thinking about for a while, because I want to do it right, and I know I can't do it right yet. That's why I bought the Mustang, because I figured it would be on the track before anything as a race car. This year, I'm changing some stuff. I've already talked about it, and we'll talk about it in a video. But I've got a problem of setting goals that I can't achieve. So here recently, if you notice, I've been finishing things, sort of, really, like this room here. I set a goal to have it finished, and it's finished except for the trim. And that's going to be our project when I get time. But I didn't have it, and yeah. And then I set the project to finish the living room, and it's 99.9% finished too. And I'll finish it up this week. Then I set a goal. But what I did, instead of saying I'm going to get it done, I made sure it was a goal that I could get done. I made sure I had everything I needed to do it with, and I made sure it was a reasonable goal, not something, And I didn't just say, I'm going to get this done. I said, I'm going to get this done. I'm going to get it done by this time. And even though I haven't completed them, man, I've gotten way farther than I ever have when I've set goals. And that's been something I've been missing, something I haven't been good at all. I've got all these projects out in the shop. That's why I'm not going to make any promises on the Fairlane. The Fairlane is what I'm getting ready, and I am going to have it ready by October, but I'm going to set an actual goal for it. Like, I'm going to have it ready by this date. Once I can get in and figure out what the realistic goal can be, if I can realistically do it, if there's, and then focus on it when I know I can focus on it and I don't have other distractions that's going to keep me from doing it. And that's been my problem. Guys, I bet you I've got 100 projects out there, and that's a low estimate. So there's that. Let me go. Let's see, Miss Baby James. Yeah, I look like a kid, and I didn't have as much gray out here. Did you notice that? I had this gray popping in here, but the rest was still sort of black and brown mixed in there. But boy, the gray has come out on the sides, and now it's gray with 2 black streaks. Instead, it was black with some gray streaks. To you, the bourbon train is hitting hard. Let's see. Depends on the platform. 302, 351, 300, all cheap. Sometimes those cheaper to buy a no title truck, strip it bare. I agree. That's something I've been thinking about doing, not just buying no title stuff, but yeah, I'm looking at going in a direction. And once I can get some stuff straight and can focus on the YouTube channel, that's something I'm thinking about doing. You'll get more details when I can figure it out. But see, one yard in my area, which would never buy a used engine from. Tags on them saying should be good and they're not. Yeah, that sucks. Now have I ever? I've only bought one junkyard engine. They guaranteed it, but I was never planning on not rebuilding it. But, so that engine, I know I stopped talking about it. That engine, what I did do is I pulled it all the way down. I took the crank and the block, took it in, had everything checked. The crank has been honed. The cylinder's honed. They didn't bore it. It didn't need it. So it's a 351, 0 over. I've got rod bearings, main bearings. No rings for it yet. So it's ready to go back together. But I've also got another 351 that is a 408 stroker short block ready to be finished putting back together for that Ranchero. Like I said, the project's on the back burner. It's going to be a while before I get to it. Yeah. Let's see, write them down, check them off. You'll get a greater sense of accomplishment. And I've got lists, and that's what I need to include in my goal stuff, because I've got lists, but I'm not being consistent with them and using them as part of my goal. So I started reading this book, and I haven't even barely got into it, but it gave me some awesome epiphanies. I can't think of the name of it. I'll put it on. I'll give you a name of it on the community chat, the community deal. I'll give you the name of it on there. It's a good book. if you get a chance, read it. And I haven't been able to focus on it, but focus on school, yes. And that's been the big deal. Even though I'm kidding myself on, well, maybe I'm not kidding myself. I may go back to work. I may not. I'm hoping this will become a full-time job. I want to do this. This is what I want to do. I want to add more. What's the word? I want to add more meat to this. I want it to be more. You get more out of it. I want to reach people on another level. I want to be able to teach you something about whatever, teach people something about whatever this is on the car or storage or tools, but also help people out, in other ways. So this is my goal. This is what I want to do. So I'm gonna keep doing this. I love doing this. School has gotten in the way of me being able to do it, and I hate that. But I'll get back there. The snacks. Tank, I told you I wasn't bringing snacks. Maybe you missed that. No snacks. Let me type it in the chat. I am not bringing snacks. I might bring some for me. Next week I might have popcorn. You're supposed to bring your own. You're supposed to bring your own drinks, and you don't have to drink. I'm not going to push it. I'm not going to push it all on everybody like Tank does. But bring your own snacks and drinks, because yeah. I appreciate that, Rob. I'm working on it, and I'll get it. I tasted the corn in that drink, the moonshine. So there was a lot of corn in that one. Yeah. Woo. Let's see. I wouldn't mind teaming up with Jeff. I wouldn't mind teaming up with Papa or Pete or any of them, but time, money, in all reality, Papa's the closest. And I think Papa would be the most likely team up that would happen. He'd probably work me to death. That guy could probably outwork me, 2-1. But yeah. Tank, I think we could, but we have to use a different. So we could stream it onto YouTube, but we have to have other software. And I haven't found a software yet that was free. And I really am not ready to pay for it. I'm already paying for too much stuff. Premiere Pro or my Adobe Suite, and I'm getting a student discount. It's like $250 a year, $250 a year, which don't sound like a lot, but it can be a lot. And I've got a subscription for a website I'm doing for some stuff. It's not just my web page. I've got a web page, everybody, but it's not really. I haven't done anything to it. I've got one of my other brothers, Tank knows him. We call him Gabby. He's working on something for me. So yeah. Let's see. He only brought a personal bourbon bottle too, not only that to share with the class. Oh, if y'all want to come over here, I've got enough bourbon to share. I just can't share it over the airwaves, and it's illegal to send it through the mail. do use Discord and do video calls. I'll look into that. I finally got a Discord account. I didn't forever. And I was trying to learn some stuff. I'm in this YouTube group, like a YouTube group. It's for YouTube creators. I haven't utilized it very much. So yeah. Google Hangout still a thing. I don't know. I'll check into some of that stuff. And if y'all want to shoot me some, shoot me some links or something. Maybe I could learn something. You got to understand, I'm learning everything I do. I mean, everything I'm doing with this stuff, I learn. It's like drinking from a fire hose. I'm learning it, a lot of it as I'm doing it. And some of you have to do a bunch to get it down. Yeah. Ooh. Something ain't hitting right. Yeah. Let's see. Just getting back from a trip to Mississippi. Maybe I should have figured out a way to swing by. Hey, for all of you that's in here right now, I'm not going to say my home is open, but I will do. I am going to do a housewarming for the garage when I get it about where I want, and I'm going to invite some people over. I'm going to weigh the pros and cons because, I am not, the guy with 100,000 followers, so I don't have the problems that some of these people have. So I think it'd be okay. I know what is it? What is his name? Coon Trucking Clay. He does some stuff, So I want to do it. I want to do it at a point where I think everybody would want to come. But when I do it, I want to do it right, and I want to be able to do a big barbecue or maybe have some catering or something. Maybe have some catering so I don't have to worry about, making anybody sick. I do a mean brisket, but I'm telling you, my confidence is at an all-time low for me cooking after me, because I cooked the meal that I ate Thursday night that I was sick on Friday. I don't know that caused it. That's what was sitting on my stomach. So I don't know if I want to cook anymore for anyone. But my brisket is killer. Not killer. It's real good. We'll see. Maybe by this summer I'll be more confident in it again. I will admit it was chicken stir fry. And the way you cook chicken stir fry is you cook your chicken first and you get it close to done, you pull it off. Then you cook your vegetable mix. And when you get your vegetables done, you crack your eggs, you throw them in that and you cook them. You pull your vegetables aside, you crack your eggs, put them in there, you mix it up. Then you throw your chicken back in, finish cooking, and then you throw your rice in. And I think it's very possible. It's very possible I didn't cook my chicken all the way. That being said, it looked cooked all the way. But it was in small chunks, so I didn't use a thermometer on it. So it's my fault. I'm not a big one on cooking chicken anyway. I love it, but I'm not a big one on cooking it unless I smoke it, and I've never had any problems doing that. Sorry I'm late leaving work. Hey, glad to have you in here, Warren. Great to have you. Let's see. Rob. Oh, Ron. Who would want us a-holes stopping that? I would. Rob, very much understand that. Throw a huge party, 25 plus people, do most of the meat on the smoker. Yeah. And the thing is, if I did a brisket, I couldn't cook it the same day. I mean, it's a 12 to 15 hour process I would have to cook it the day before, and I would cook the day before. I would let it rest overnight, and the next day I would, after it had rested, I would heat it up again to serve it. That's how I would do that. Usually, after I rest it, I cut it into meal-sized portions and I vacuum seal it and put it up. I think I got one package left from my last brisket that I did, and I do about 2 or 3 briskets a year. But me and the wife will do it, and we'll get tired of it. We love it, but we'll get tired of it. See, not Ron Nowak, not me. I get a drink with y'all, but we got some curmudgeons in here. Don't mean to gross y'all out. There's a guy who's been eating raw. Oh man, that's rough. Raw chicken until he gets a tummy ache. Oh man, that is not good. That's what we do on the brisket also. RV parking in the yard. I could hook up two RVs with, I could probably hook up two RVs with water and power. Um, I I couldn't really do the sewage, but I do. If you got a small one, you can maneuver it so that you could dump it into my clean out, which I've done before. I've dumped it into my sewer clean out. So I did that before. Um, I've got an RV, but it needs some, or not RV. I got a toy hauler. It needs some work. I've let it sit, and it's developed a leak over the bed in the main bedroom through the air conditioner. Um, yeah. Let's see. The last safe brisket is waiting in your freezer. It's yeah. It's I want. I think I want to eat it this week, but I want to give my stomach some time because it is not happy. My stomach is not happy. It's probably going to be a few days before I'm eating a full meal. Um, and maybe it's good that I haven't been eating as much lately. I'm down to 192.2, which gives me a little over 2 more pounds till I hit that 190 mark. My goal was to hit 190 before the end of February, and that was early January, and I didn't make it because I sort of, my diet sort of fell off a little bit. Yeah, just need power and a bush to duck behind. I don't have many bushes in the yard. It's pretty wide open. Like I said, I've got fields behind the house, and if it's during the middle of summer and corn's being grown, there's plenty to duck into. The corn gets tall, but the soybeans don't. And I think this whole area was a field before they put houses on it, and so the trees here, none of them are over about 30 years old. So I guess 30, maybe 40. My Bradford pears, which everybody hates them, but I got two Bradford pears in front of the yard, and they're about that big around. They're they're probably about a time and a half bigger around than basketball. So that puts them at a decent age, and I don't think there's no trees in the yard. Maybe there are one or two trees in this area bigger than that. But I had a big weeping willow, but I think they grow very fast, and it was probably 2.5 foot in diameter. Is that the right word? Not straight across, whatever straight across is. So anyway, um, see, I haven't weighed 190 since second grade. Uh, Warren, I'm 5'10". Yeah, I got out of the army in 2017 at 40, whatever, 46, 47. I don't know. I can't. Maybe younger than that. and I had to hold it steady below 192 because I couldn't weigh more than that. And my build is that to do the way they did body fat, if I went over my weight, then I had to get taped. And if I was to get taped, I would not pass, period. Because I've got a very small neck and I had a nice little pouch belly on me, little beer belly. Um, so I would have, I say get in trouble, but so that what they do is they put you on a weight program, and you can't get anything positive while you're on this weight program. So you can't get awards. You can't get promoted. It goes in your evaluations. I can't remember. Maybe it doesn't, but it kind of does. But it reflects, and it's hard to excel, or it's hard to advance when you're on a weight program, rate control weight. I forget. It's been a long time. I've slept since then. But anyway, um, when I got out, I started working at GE, and I was walking as a supervisor. I was walking miles and miles every night, and I was moving. Because my section would be spread from here to there, and you're constantly putting out fires all night. So I was moving, I was going all the time. When I quit in 2018, I slowly gained up to 220, and I was about 215 when I decided I was losing weight back in October or so, and they just told me I was diabetic. They told me in December I was diabetic for sure. They told me 6 months before that I thought they told me I was pre-diabetic, but I guess they told me I was diabetic, and I didn't want to hear it. So, yeah. So I've got to lose weight. Um, they got me on metformin now. I really don't want to be. I want to be off of it. I hate taking medicines. I take 7 medicines on a daily basis, and I don't like it. I hate taking medicine, but it is what it is. Anyway, let's see. Nothing helps weight loss like illness. My last big weight loss was in 2017. I was a steady 285, 290, right? And I broke up with a girl. Well, she broke up with me. And all of a sudden, I'm weighing, did I say, I was a steady 185, 190, something like that. And all of a sudden, I'm back down to 170 again. uh, it just, the same thing happened when my wife passed. Is I lost weight, and before that, it wasn't but a few months before that I had, that stuff that you drink that makes you poop all night before a surgery. I drank a bottle of that because I was about a pound over, and I was concerned about it before I went in to get weighed. And this was right before my weight went, like my allowable weight went up. So as you get older, they allow you a little more weight in the Army. So I drank a bottle of that. And my last meal before drinking that, it wasn't even a meal. It was so stupid. It was some spicy Cheez-Its. The stupidest thing in the world to drink before you're about to turn your, rear end into a water cannon. Is some spicy Cheetos. Um, I was miserable all night. I mean, miserable. Oh man. Oh God, a weeping willow switch is the worst butt whooping grandma ever gave me. Switches. That's been some memories that I'm okay to forget. You know, let's see. I don't think my grandparents ever whipped me. I was too scared of them to whipping me. I was a pretty decent kid. My mom and dad whipped my ass all the time, though. I mean, I got I got a butt whooping all the time. I'm glad you could picture that, Ron. Uh, uh, it was a horrible night. But yeah, my mom and dad, man, they used to whip my butt all the time. And sometimes I just couldn't understand it. I really didn't. And there was this one time I got a whipping. I was 7 or 8 years old, and there was some red paint. Now it was like some house paint. I don't know what it was back then. Could have been latex. I don't know. It could have been oil based. Probably oil based because, this was the 70s, 70, probably 78, 79, 77 sometime. There was a big hurricane there in Florida at the same time. We lived Central Florida, a place called Babson Park, near Lake Wells. Um, but there was a built-in fireplace in the back of our yard. Built-in, not fireplace, not a fireplace, a grill, a big cooker. Red brick. This paint was red. And it was sitting there right beside it. And it'd been opened, and there was a paintbrush around. And I felt that brick needed to be painted red. And my daddy told me, boy, don't you do that. I'm going to whoop your butt. And for some reason, I couldn't help myself. I had to paint it. And I remember him telling me not to do it. And I remember me doing it because it had to be done. And I got my ass whooped. And I did not understand for the life of me why I got whooped. Now, this paint had water in it because it had been sitting in the rain or something. For the life of me, I don't understand. I can't picture the whole thing back then because I know I wouldn't have opened it. But, so yeah. Made the mistake bringing her a broken one. She took me outside and picked one. Oh, you never want to pick a bad switch. Never. I picked a bad switch for mom one time. We were sitting out there, we were some type of family get together, and all the nieces and nephews were out there. And I picked a bad one for mom. I did something wrong, and I picked a bad one for mom. And she said, okay. And she whooped me with it. And then she went and got another one and whipped me with it. So it didn't matter. I was getting my ass tore up. And we won't get on a discussion of corporal punishment. What I will say is I think it can be beneficial, and I think it can be detrimental, and it depends on the kid and how it's being used. And I'll leave it there. And if you disagree with me on that, I don't understand. But my boys, it didn't do no good. I could have busted my boys in the nose and it wouldn't have done no good. They wouldn't. They were hard headed. They would argue with a stop sign. They wasn't listening to nothing. Nothing worked. My youngest, awesome kid now. He is awesome. I love the man that he's grown up to be. And he can look on the past, and he's a better man today. My oldest still has some growing up to do. But look, working with them with punishments was extremely difficult growing up. Me, I was heartbroken to get in trouble. Just to get a lecture from my dad broke my heart. I was a sensitive little boy. I just, plus I got my butt whooped. But sometimes the lecture was worse because, I disappointed dad and it was a big deal. But anyway, uh, honestly thankful for butt whoopings. I understand that. Whoopings came from love, and I knew I had disappointed the person giving it. Yep, yep. Had its place, simple attention getter. Yep. Uh, and I get it. There's people that they've abused it. They they took it too far. There's people that take it too far. And I mean, and that's not going as far as abuse. There's people who have took it too far, but where it wasn't considered abuse, I feel. And it's just kids. All kids are different. Um, Kids are going to respond differently to different things. Um, yeah, and it by the time I'd had my second child and knew that he was as obstinate. Anthony's not as obstinate as Jacob was, but he was still very stubborn. Jacob is obstinate. Um, but I knew what wouldn't work. Still haven't figured out what would work, but I knew what wouldn't. So has its place. Okay, yeah, I got it. Absolutely agree. Has to be controlled by the person doling it out. Yes, it does. Dad and mom never hit me anywhere. I got butt whoopings on the butt with a belt, with a switch, and that's it. I think that's it. I'm pretty sure that's it. Always on the butt. Did I get it on the legs or the back if I jumped around? Probably. It was my fault, I would imagine, because I was jumping around. Because their aim was pretty true. But boy, I had some stripes on my legs before. Um, when I guess I was probably around 10 years old, third or fourth grade, whatever you got to be in third or fourth grade. I can remember more what grade I was in than I can what age I was. But Dad got into leather making, and he had him a belt with his CB handle in it. Called his CB handle was Little John, and I think I wore that on my butt a few times, except backwards. Absolutely agree. I closed my fist while arguing with my daddy once. Woke up in the chair. Ooh, man. Tank, I never made that mistake. My dad, I was taller than my dad at about 16, but dad was always very healthy. I was always very skinny. All the way, man, I forget when I finally started putting on weight. But like when I graduated high school, I was 125 pounds, maybe. Yeah, maybe 125 pounds. I wasn't about to talk back to my dad. We got into some arguments, but I wasn't about to bow up to my dad because I knew better. And it probably wasn't because I was scared of him. I believe maybe there was in the back of the head deal on that. But it was more, I think it was more of the respect. But still, it would have been stupid. Dad was, at the height of his diesel mechanic career at that time. And, and they didn't have all the nice power tools that we got today. even the impacts didn't hit quite so hard as they do today. And so, yeah, I mean, I've sat and watched, 15 years later, I was helping Dad, you know, put 600 foot-pounds of torque on some mains on a Cummins engine. I guess it was the mains. I can't remember. But I just remember it was 600 foot-pounds of torque, which wasn't easy, even with a nice long torque wrench. See, lesson learned. Sawed-off broomstick with leather strips attached to the end. Once is all it took. Memory lapse. Ooh, shouldn't have. I was 16 then. Daddy was a coal miner and construction worker, built like Popeye. I was 3 inches shorter, but outweighed him by 100 pounds. I understand. Dad was kind of like he was a little built like he had some big forearms, but his upper arms were kind of big. He wasn't like bodybuilder big, but Dad was strong. He was about 180 pounds and 5'8". And I just remember Dad being something. Now Dad, before he passed, he dwindled down to there's Dad. The year before Dad passed, and I helped him get back into health, he got down to like 100 pounds. His metformin stopped working, and he had stopped eating because he was so sick and he couldn't keep his blood sugar under control. He got down below 100 pounds, and we got him fixed, got his diabetic, he started taking two types of shots a day, one 3 times a day and one once a day. But within a month, I got him back up to about 125 pounds. And I stayed with them for about a month. And Dad got better. COVID got him the next year. And he was healthy until he caught COVID. He had been healthy. He was doing great. And he had cancer, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And it had went back below whatever, they told him you don't have to come back and see us but every 3 months now. They were having him come in every month, and then they were like, no, don't come back and see us for every 3 months. I mean, everything was doing good. It would have eventually got him, but Dad was strong. He was stubborn, and he didn't go to the hospital when he should have, and COVID just tore his lungs up and made it to where he couldn't recover. His lungs were just done. So, yeah. But anyway, blue collar strength, much better than weight room strength. Yep. Triangle shape and could hit. Yep. Strongest men I ever knew were some of my daddy's coal miner brothers and singing strong. Yeah, it seems like the further we progress, and I'm just going to be as men, and I'm looking, and I know I've got a bunch of friends that are my age, a little older, a little younger, and we are just not on par with our fathers, and they're not on par with their fathers. Okay, they're just not. It seems like they were so much stronger back then. And maybe it's an illusion. Maybe it's something that we are imagining. But it seems like we are weaker physically as a generation than the generations before us. And I think it's further back. I've sat and watched my dad talk about his dad and brother getting into an argument as to who could lift a bale of cotton by themselves. And one of them lifted it up and put it on the back of the truck, and the other one lifted up, put it back on the ground, and they argued about it, to see who was the strongest. And I can't imagine that, I can't imagine it, period. But I can also remember my dad hauling around, engine blocks like it's nothing. Now I'll pick up an engine block, but not a short block. I will, but I'm likely to drop a nut. Um, we're the softest. Dad's 81 and still outworks me. Um, I'm gonna tell you something my son said to me the other day. I probably scared him because the simple fact that I wasn't finishing what we started with the whole, the fiber, putting in the insulation and everything, Friday scared him because he was like, he told me something about he understood about, you know, working and how, work don't stop. It doesn't matter where you're not feeling good. And he says something about, I never thought you wasn't feeling good because you always just did what you had to do. And so I never let the pain show to them whether I hurt or not. And so when I was that whatever and couldn't do it, it told him, so Dad ain't feeling good. But yeah, Tank Dad there at the end, not even at the end, last couple years, but he struggled. He went up and down. He actually 3 years before he passed, he built a 350 for one of his cousins, and that's probably the last engine Dad built. And not long after he built it, he did get him a pickup with a 350 in it, and he was fooling with it. It was a square body Chevy, and he'd do a little bit here and there, but he would get so tired out there working on it. And right before he got sick the first time with the diabetes and him losing so much weight, he started giving us his stuff. He was preparing to die. Didn't realize it right off the bat. This was around Thanksgiving. When I come back and seen him at Christmas, I was like, oh crap. And I decided I went home and come right back and stayed with him for about a month and a half, 2 months, something like that. I don't know. But yeah, but Dad was going to try to bust his ass. I think he come up and helped me get the Fairlane running. It has been running. It just, I took it back apart to do some stuff to it. Anyway, I have rambled on for an hour and 32 minutes. So I think this is our longest in here. I appreciate everybody hanging in here, everyone that has. I appreciate everybody that's just tuned in and stayed with us for whatever time. I might have run some people off talking about whipping. Some people, that's a touchy subject. You can get some arguments with that. But I think some kids need it nowadays. But anyway, y'all take care. Have a blessed week, and y'all take care of each other. Don't, if you need me, reach out. My Facebook is on my YouTube deal. You can find my Facebook. Get over there and follow me. You can send me a message. I checked my where you don't get your messages, they go to other folder. I check that every now and then because I'm not going to get them for someone following me except in that folder. I had to accept them. So y'all take care. If you need anything, reach out. I'll be here for you. I appreciate everything y'all do for me. Y'all coming in, checking out. Thank you, brother. Thanks. Oh, yeah, I do. You got mine too. Y'all take care. Bye.